All right. Good afternoon or evening. Hope y'all are doing okay. Sorry about last Friday. Missed y'all. See who we got in here. Luna, good to see you. The Purified, also good to see you. Terror, welcome. Onika, hey. Tony, welcome. And Jay, glad you can make it. Got some people already wandering in nicely. 2D, welcome. What's up? Good to see you. Thanks for joining us. Got me a good pot of coffee made and ready to go. This has been a very, very busy week here. My goodness, things are getting so busy of late. But that's good. It's good to stay busy, right? Bernaldus, welcome. Looks like Kaylee, welcome. If I butchered that, I apologize. Invictus, thoughts on vampiric magic? Well, vampiric magic, it functions. It's very simple. It does function. You do have a lot of edgy people trying to produce it and present it in all these different ways that it doesn't necessarily have to be. I mean, at its core, vampiric magic is you're drawing energy from something else in order to power your magic. And by and large, I'd say that is a really bad road to go because you're not building yourself up at all. You're actually becoming more and more dependent and reliant on other people's energy, and that can go really bad for you really quickly. In fact, I know at least 12 different spells that can bulk shut down that exact kind of drain for an area as large as 30 miles. So if I was to suspect someone doing that in my neighborhood or in an area where I am and the people came to me, I would definitely shut that down. Because there's a very big difference in vampiric magic that's draining someone without permission and a actual member of the elder vampire community who they need energy in order to supplement their own selves, and they have a willing and knowing donor. Completely different. Consent is really everything here. So yeah, it is a very touchy subject, and honestly, for those who truly actually specialize in it, this is going to be, I know it's not going to be liked, but honestly, I have more respect for magicians who use their own power. LVX, welcome. Yusuf, wish I could stay in the live stream, but I've got to study. Hey, knowledge is good. Go get that studying done, mate. Thanks for jumping in to say hi. A12, eating steak for dinner. Hey, there you go. That's what I had. Is it Jackie? Welcome. Good to see you. Sophia, good to see you as well. Have I heard of Gui? Is that supposed to be Goetia? Because if so, yeah. It looks like Goetia. It's one of the things, cult words can be pronounced very different than how they're spelled, which means I may even know a word before I see it. Yeah. So I'm thinking that's either supposed to be Geisha or Goetia. I do know which, but I'm going to go with Goetia because that makes more sense, technically speaking. It's Shinnigan. Okay, you know what? I'm going to cover this once real quick, people. Once, really, really quickly. When it comes to Eli Mercury and all the drama going on around him and his channel and his practice, let's leave it over there. Seriously. I don't really know him as an occultist. I have not followed his stuff. My email has blown up over the last week with questions about that. And honestly, I graduated high school and I'm happy to leave high school drama behind. So let's just leave it at that and leave his stuff over there with him. Because everything I've heard has been second or third hand, and unless I was to go over there and dig into it, that's not a fair assessment of any kind, and you shouldn't talk out your ass from second and third hand accounts. So yeah, we're just going to leave it at that, so please don't ask again. Jackie, do I have any tips for Book of Shadows / Grimoires? Yeah, I do. Here's my tip. First off, what you want to do is you want to get you one notebook that is your daily record journal. This here's mine. It's got a custom cover that was made for me, but inside is just a composition notebook with lots of bookmarks and other things for me to keep my stuff. This is my daily where I write everything and record everything down as it comes, every little thought during my workings, that kind of stuff for general practice. I also do keep individual notebooks. This is where it goes overkill. You can get away with just the one, but I also keep individual ones like this that focus on specific topics of working. This one happens to be my goetic one where I'm working with the dark tree. So all my dark tree workings and random notes go into this. Now, what I do is I keep these journals and these notebooks like this with all my experimentations and stuff. But once I get something fine-tuned and locked into place, then I'll transfer it into a book that I plan to keep long-term. Does that make sense? And I try to make sure I have the date at the very least. If I think about it, I'll have a moon phase recorded. But I always record exactly, the type of ritual I'm doing, why I'm doing it, and any stipulations that I've put on the particular working, time of manifestation I'm looking for, all those things. Does really help quite a bit. Let's see what we got here. Have I heard about Blackwood's new book that talk? Yeah, I have heard about it. Actually, I have a copy of it on the bookshelf that I plan to review and read. I've not had a chance to go through it completely, so I can't comment on that either. But I actually did pick up a copy of it. I do try to read as much as I can to stay up on latest research and the like, even if it's topics that I may disagree with. You really always have to challenge your own perspective. I'm a big believer in the things that are most important to read are the things I disagree with, because I should challenge my perspective. I should challenge myself and my beliefs. And that's really the only way you can grow. If you put yourself inside this bubble of belief and you only focus on your beliefs and your opinions, you've isolated yourself and cut you off from so much you will not grow. Sophia, amen to that, girl. There are so many ways to increase your power without using someone else's. Mugs up to Sophia. Yeah. Yeah, that's okay. So it was Goetia. Yeah, actually, I have worked with the Goetic spirits quite a bit. In fact, you'll actually find a playlist here on this channel where we've started posting videos on the Goetic spirits. And we're actually planning to go through all 72 of them. Oh, great, we jumped. Okay, it's getting busy in here. Oh, before I forget, hit that like button. Make sure you hit it, smash it, give us the like so YouTube knows you actually like the work we're doing here. Really helps us out. YouTube will show the videos to more people if you hit that like button. And we got 29 people in here, and we missing a few likes. So, you know, I even, you know, shaved and done my beard up nice today. So give us a like. See what we got in here. Wow, we jumped big. Okay, there's a few questions. If I miss your question, I apologize. Do remember we do have the super chat if it's really important. That way it'll flash it up on the screen and I won't miss it. What does Ra mean about us fusing together with our loved ones eventually in our ascended path? I'm really not sure what you're referencing. We do not fuse or merge with another entity when we ascend. That would actually defeat the purpose of ascending. So it could possibly mean that it's a path that you can walk together with your loved ones. That's a possibility, but not a literal fusion. Let's see. Dan got some dragon skills popping. What? Let's see. OVX, do you practice sorcery and do you have any advice for learning more about it? Depends on how you're using the word. Most people use sorcery as a term to represent manipulating the physical realm, in which case, yeah, I do. When it comes to magic, I'm a big believer in you cannot master the multiverse if you don't take care of your crap here. The physical world is first and foremost our responsibility. It is the place we grow. If you ignore the physical world, you're ignoring 99% of who you are and what you're meant to grow into. And you're only complicating your own growth because of that. There are so many so-called high priests and priestesses I know. Their magic ain't powerful enough to manifest a paycheck to pay their bills. But they want to claim all kinds of stuff and they want to talk down to everyone else. I am very results oriented and I am very data oriented, and sorcery and manipulating the physical realm in order to manifest what I need within the physical realm is hands down the best way to do that. Now, once I take care of my physical life and I've got things going here, do I move past that? Oh yeah, I don't stop there. I make sure I try and cover all my bases on that. But as far as advice for it, it's work, just like all magic. Keep your journal, keep your records, and keep applying it. The more you do it, the better. Tony, what are some of the best ways to increase your own power? Well, for the dragon magic practitioner, you're really hard pressed to go and find anything better than the dragon's flame meditation. That little meditation, it grows with you and it constantly pushes your power capacity. And since it grows with you and it pushes your power and energy capacity, you never reach a maximum capacity. And the more you grow, the more it helps you grow. You combine that with the Dragon's Flame Ritual. And for those in Dragon Magic 103, the Greater Dragon's Flame Ritual, you find that that alone can really take you as far as you're wanting to go, as long as you're willing to put the work in and do it. Many of my students have also found out it can leave you feeling almost drunk with how much power it can pump through you. I know a few ceremonial magicians use many of the ceremonial rituals to do a similar thing, though it seems, by report, it does seem to do so on more mellow scale. So it's not to say that it's slower or quicker, but it does seem to not quite have the initial punch in the face. So it really depends on preference here. Those are generally my favorite ways to go. Even before I had the Dragon's Flame ritual, utilizing a lot of the ceremonial magic rituals, I found quite useful. But then again, there's also the fact that the more magic you do, the more energy you harness, you're flexing a muscle. Your muscles will naturally grow as you practice as well. Maybe not as quick as if you're doing these other focused rituals. But yeah, just like any muscle, the more you do it, the more you use it, the more you're going to grow. BG, you made it. Ms. Weeks, welcome. Glad you could make it. Oh, you want to see the tattoo? If you're talking about my arm sleeve, yeah, it's actually got a bunch of tattoos worked into it. But the scale work took me forever to find a tattoo artist to do it. But William at Night Owl Tattoo on Whidbey Island in Washington State, he was up to the challenge, and that poor boy, man, he worked his butt off to get this scale work done. So if any of you happen to be in Washington State around Whidbey Island, pop into Night Owl Tattoos and tell William Drake sent you. Oh, yeah, the arm tattoos, yeah. I got them all over. Got at least 6 more ideals, though I promised my wife she gets the next tattoo. So she's already got a bunch of ideals for when she gets home and everything. She's got the itch. Do I know anyone that's working with dreams on YouTube? Not personally that I can recommend, and I don't really research a lot of dream work myself outside what I need to for clients. I done a lot of research on dream work back in the day, and it was never my cup of tea. But I always keep an eye out for one. I've just not found one that ever sticks in my head that I recommend. Entity wise, I really like working with Lilith when it comes to dream work, or Nama. Those are generally the two that I really enjoy doing dream work with if I need to do dream work. Tony, very interesting. I've not started practice Dragon Magic, but I think I will get the 101 course in the near future. Awesome, Tony. I think you'll enjoy it. Everyone who has purchased it has highly, highly enjoyed it. In fact, ever since its release, I've only had one complaint, and that was someone who bought 102 without buying 101, and they were upset that you need 101 to take 102. And literally in the description of 102, it says, must have completed 101 for this material to make sense. So I don't know what they were thinking, but yeah, different strokes. In Leviticus, have you ever communicated with a werewolf before? Yeah, werewolves are in the Feywilds all the time, and yeah, I've communicated with a few of those. Now, if you're talking like Hollywood werewolves, shape-shifting werewolves in the physical plane, there is literally no proof of those yet. However, I have been on plenty, and I do mean plenty, of outings where we spent weeks in the swamps of Louisiana looking for rougarous and shit. Probably not the smartest activity to do, I'll agree, but my curiosity gets the better of me. But physicals, no proof of them at all. We got a lot of lore, a lot of myths, but we also got myths about snipes. And any of y'all in the South ever been snipe hunting? You know what I'm talking about there. And if you haven't, find you somebody to take you snipe hunting. Carol, why can the Dragon's Flame ritual be used for something that you won't be able to do with the lesser banishing pentagram ritual? Yeah, I'd say it could. By and large, the lesser banishing ritual of the pentagram is not a really big ritual. In fact, most ceremonial magicians I know, they'll give it to anyone because they consider it training wheels. So that's really where you get started with your ritual processes and everything. And they actually have rituals to build onto that because it's really not a catch-all. Which is weird because I know a lot of pagans who mark it up here as the pinnacle of ritual work, which it's like, okay, whatever. Yeah, I would probably put it up there closer to like the greater ritual of the hexagram. But yeah, I would have to say that the Dragon's Flame ritual could accomplish a few things that the lesser banishing could not quite easily. Let's see. Jackie asked, you know if you have to get deities or do they just come to you naturally? Actually, Jackie, both. You can reach out to any entity you want to reach out to talk to. I do that all the time. I will be curious about an entity. I want to get to know them. I'll go introduce myself and I will sit down and chat with them and get to know them. I don't worship. That's been covered quite a bit on this channel, but I do always seek out new friends and allies. At the same time, there are entities that will take a fancy in you or an interest in you, and they may come say hi to you in turn. Perfectly natural. It can happen both ways. There is no right or wrong. Odin and Freya, they knocked on my door for several years before I opened it. I wish I'd opened it sooner because they are two of the entities that I view as possibly some of my most trusted friends and allies. I adore them. It's hard to think of my life without them. But yeah, it can actually happen both ways. So if you're interested in a particular entity, do a little research and reach out to them. We actually have a few videos here on contacting entities and deities. You might want to check those out. Let's see what we got here. Macie Reynolds, hey everyone, going into work very late today, so I'm glad I get to join for a bit. Hey Macie, glad you could drop in and say hi. Mugs up to you. Drive safe on your way to work. Okay, and my eyes keep bouncing around, just so y'all know. The sun has managed to get in a position where it's squeezing right through this shade over here, and it just keeps blasting me right in the eyes. I feel like I need sunglasses right now. And you can even see part of it like, kind of right here. Let's see, Jackie, what's the scariest thing that's happened to you? Ooh, that's a tricky one. There's a lot of them. There really are. There's a lot of messed up things that's happened to me, magically speaking. Though some of the most terrifying definitely come from soul travel, because unlike astral travel, soul travel, you really can't separate it from the physical. So if something hurts you, it's going to feel as real as if it happened in the real world. And many times you'll actually find massive reddening of the skin, and it can actually even cause bruising. And when working with the Qliphoth, I have encountered quite a few violent and terrifying things. The one that springs to my mind right away, Jackie, is being devoured externally and internally by spiders and being able to feel every little bite, rip, tear, and sensation as they devoured me. Unable to pass out, unable to snap out of the soul travel until they completely devoured me down to nothing but bone. That effed with me for quite some time. And still does. It still does. Anytime I work with that particular Qliphothic sphere, it does send a cold chill through me because I tend to remember that experience. Thoughts on, well, werewolfery? Is it possible to invoke a wolf spirit such as Finra? Finra is not a wolf spirit. Finra is a spirit of destruction. A lot of people have rewrote Finra's mythology and history to make him into something he is not. You need to be very, very careful when working with Finra. He is an agent of chaos and destruction, period. As to shapeshifting, shapeshifting is something anyone can do, especially on the astral. So the ability to learn shapeshifting, you can learn that from any of your guides. It's done in dragon magic almost immediately. Most of my students, before they ever get out on a 101, they're already shapeshifting in one manner or another. Physical shapeshifting, if that's what you're looking for, I have never seen actual proof of that in any shape, form, or fashion. Again, I have studied the Rougarou. I've also studied skinwalkers. I've spent some time around Texas, New Mexico, Arizona. And I've seen some really, really bizarre reports of skinwalkers or skinwalker-like activities, but no proof. And that's the kicker, the proof. So without proof, I can't say physical's possible. You know that. I'm a proof-based person. So until I see the proof, at this point, everything's just myth and legend. Or maybe tequila-based hallucinations. That could happen too. You're a Drake. I was wondering what your thoughts are on politics and magic. I hate the capitalistic society we live in, but not sure if that hate is beneficial to my path. Generally, I don't talk politics here, mate. But you phrase this in a way that is more magic than politics. So by and large, here's the thing. When it comes to politics, I don't like politicians. I don't like the government in my back pocket. And I don't like people telling me what to do with my stuff. And I don't think anyone deserves a handout. I think a person should work and they should be rewarded for their work. And if you work and you earn it, congratulations, I'm proud of you. I'm not a big guy on excuses. So when it comes to capitalism, I kind of am very pro-capitalism because it is the only system I've seen that allows a person to actually pick themselves up. I've seen a lot of people complain about it, and every one of those people are refusing to actually do the work. I have time and time again taken people from bankruptcy to comfortable living. And honestly, the capitalistic society is really what allows that to happen. However, you mentioned the side of magic. Magic is work. It is very, very, very big work, hard work. It takes a lot of time and effort. And if you're working and you're putting forth that effort as a magician, you should never, never be seeking a handout of any kind. You shouldn't be worried about politics and you shouldn't be worried about the current society we live in because you can manifest that which you need. And Red Perp, stop spamming. So by and large, you know, what a person's personal view is, I don't care. If they're not trying to cram it down my throat, I don't care. Magic don't care about your politics. It really doesn't care, period. The multiverse's job is to basically be the schoolyard bully and beat us up. Because without hardships, without strife, without conflict, we don't grow. And our entire purpose here on the physical plane is to grow. So the lazy, they're not going to grow. It's a sad truth. And we do see a lot of spiritualists that are leaning toward oh, no, it's just fine. And they wonder why no one's growing, why there's no growth. In fact, the more and more we've gotten that mentality, we've actually seen a decline in spiritual progression. And that saddens me as a whole. That's one reason I do believe in results. I do believe in recording things. And I base my practice around results, not faith. I don't have faith in anything. If I can't see it, if I can't see it manifesting a genuine change, if I can't put it to actual physical use, it's no good to me. That's as good as a storybook from fiction. So no, when it comes to politics, by and large, no, I'm not a political person. I don't get into it. I value individual freedom, period. And anyone who wants to try and take my individual freedom, they're going to have a fight. But that's as far down the political road as we'll go, people. So don't start a political chat up in here, please, because that was based more in the magical side of things. And magic takes work, and you will not receive reward within magic without work. So, ironically, I mean, I get where you're coming from and all, but you guys put forth that work too. So, yeah. Purified. Do I think the world ran by a world ran by AI would be a horrible thing? If computers have taught me one thing, and my generation grew up with no computers, starting computers in the home to where we are, it's a horrible thing. Every advancement in technology we make solves one problem and creates 100. There is no way a world ran by AI would ever be a good thing. Would not. Technology is the emphasis and the exponential development of human flaws. That's why those in the computer industry, they got job security, people, because every time they fix a problem, they create 100 new ones. Anubis, why wasn't you able to snap back to your body? That's one of those little fun things at the Cliff Author. If there's a lesson to be taught, they will hold you there. What's my thoughts on spiritual Satanism? It's a philosophy. It's a religion. And we all have our philosophies. We all have our viewpoints. For those who do practice it as a religion, there's many religions out there. No one religion is right. As long as they're not teaching hate or division, you do you. That's my opinion. But the second you start talking about hate and division, and that's when I got a problem. Dan Phil, do you have faith that you can manifest? No, I have proof that I can manifest. Actually, when I got into magic, I didn't think any of it would work. I really didn't. I approach it from a very scientific method. I track all the data. I even put time limits on it, and I do the spells multiple times in order to track the manifestation results. And I follow those results. And if I don't get 85% or better manifestation results, I consider the spell or ritual useless. So yeah, no, I don't have faith in manifestation. I know it'll work. Just like I know if I reach over and flip this light switch, I can turn the light on above me. I don't need to have faith in it. I've done it enough times and it's worked. Proof in physical. I've seen it. I have done it. That's not faith. Let's see, Tara, even if you disagree with Drake, he's allowed to have his own viewpoint. Opinions, just reminder. Oh, wait, did somebody get upset because I believe magic takes work? Oh, well. See, a little Earth Dragon. I was just thinking about how humans are responsibility is the Earth yesterday. I've been having a hard time with certain traits that can count as negative or positive. I've thought about ridding myself of them, but realize you can't change who you truly are. No, and here's the thing: positive and negative traits, they're needed. We need these positive and negative traits. They are what we are in the physical plane, and they are a necessity for us to grow. They're a part of the lessons and the struggles that we go through. We're supposed to be able to work with these and balance them and utilize them, even a negative trait in a positive way. So yeah, that's actually pretty insightful there, little Earth Dragon. Good on you. And now the sun is like sitting here right on my face. I'm kind of starting to lean this way. I apologize, people. Eventually, I'm going to be over here. We'll see what happens. Hermetic Shaman, are you okay? I'm doing fine. I'm just dodging this light over here. Let's see, little Earth Dragon, can you decrease the positive or negative traits? Yes, spiritual alchemy is one way you can do this. In Dragon Magic 102, we actually talk about draconic alchemy, where they utilize the zodiacs and the elements in order to do that exact thing as well. So alchemy is one way to do that. Little Earth Dragon, it's up to us not to, yes, well said. Mugs up to Little Earth Dragon. It is up to us, not just magic. So many people come to magic thinking it's a cure-all. It's going to start granting you wishes and your life's going to be okay. Well, I'm going to let you all in on a little secret to magic. Magic doesn't make your life easier. It makes it more complicated. Because the multiverse is like, okay, that person can handle this. Let's push their face in the mud based on what they can handle. You start studying magic. You start seeing a bigger picture. You have more tools. You have more abilities. You can handle more. Now, instead of one schoolyard bully shoving your face in the mud, you have an army of them. But you're more capable. Now you're able to handle more. Thus, yes, you're still having stressful issues. You're still having problems, but you're growing quicker. It's actually a pretty fascinating little system the multiverse has set up. Oh, well, yeah. Everyone's got an opinion. Opinions are like buttholes. We all got one. It's all good. Self. Let's see. J2 Rock speaks of negative entities with 95% service to self. Are those just entities that go against people's free will, or worse? And is rogue dragons negative entities? There is a such thing as rogue dragons, which are entities or dragons that completely go against the laws of the draconic realms, and they actually seek the destruction of the multiverse. Period. That is their end game. That's their goal. So it's almost hard to even call them selfish because they're almost self-destructive. In fact, when they break away from the draconic realms in such a way, they begin a process of elemental decay. They're so fanatical in their search for destruction that they don't even mind the fact that it's going to destroy them. Rogue dragons aren't as big of a problem as people might think, because once that elemental decay gets to them, they start losing all their power. Honestly, a 4-year-old could take if a dragon's been a rogue dragon for 10 years, a 4-year-old's giggle could probably floor it. I've seen a lot of magicians brag about tackling rogue dragons, and it's like, dude, a 4-year-old watching a comedy special could take out a rogue dragon. But there are negative entities out there that people view as negative. But there are entities out there that are actually, their point is to challenge us. That is their whole job. I mean, hell, look at Dragon Magic. You got the Maelstrom and Chaos. One of the reasons those rulers will not let me post those videos yet is those two elements, they're going to wreck your shit. The Maelstrom's all about change. It doesn't matter if you want it. It doesn't matter if you like it. When the Maelstrom energy comes into your life, there will be change. And if you try to resist it, it can kill you. Chaos is not like chasing cats and herding cats. It's not like Loki, the trickster god that Marvel presents. No, when the dragons talk about chaos, chaos is the epitome, the absolution of creation and destruction. And they cannot exist independently. They cannot. This means in order to create from chaos, you must destroy something. There's no way around it. And most people get upset when their favorite video game breaks. These two elements alone can completely wreck your life. Yes, they can completely reshape your life to the thing you're hoping to get. But most people want to get to this ideal life, but never give up anything. And to resist it will literally tear you apart. But that doesn't make them negative. That just means, to our perspective, we don't like them. So does the multiverse give hardest lives to the people who can handle it? Yes, the multiverse's entire concept is built on growth and development entirely. It's basically built around that, maintaining that balance and growth of all entities, including deities. Yes, they're still growing, is the entire concept. So the more you can handle, the more it's going to throw at you, because that's going to allow you to grow and develop quicker. And that's kind of the entire growth concept within the multiverse is built on the snowball concept. So once you get going, it just starts snowballing down and more and more and more and gets out of control. But the more and more you can handle, thus the more and more you grow quickly. So a lot of people look at a practitioner like me and they're like, Drake got his shit together. Look at that. He's on top of it. What they don't see is all the crap I have to deal with on a day-to-day basis to continue my path and continue my growth. But also, I can openly admit that thankfully, over the years, I've learned the techniques and practices to be able to deal with it. The funny thing I find is you got a lot of magicians that learn the ability to deal with it, and they don't. They do not. They get hit with a problem, they sit down on the floor and cry about it. They do not go into their ritual room or their workspace or wherever it is they do their magic, and they do not harness that magic to actually put forth their will. And I think that comes from a lot of the religion that has come into magic. I think way too many practitioners give their power away to other entities instead of owning their own power. But that's a theory of mine. That's a theory of mine about people giving away their power. Yep, constant change. It's a party. It really is. Servitors will eventually leave or die, LVX. It's it's just inevitable. If you do not maintain them, they will die. They are a construct. They are a machine. They are not a living entity, and they will leave and or die. If they leave, they've gone rogue. You lost control of it. That's on you entirely. And if it dies, well, that's okay. All servitors should be destroyed at some point, in all honesty. Otherwise, you're going to be maintaining it constantly. As far as powerful, practice makes perfect. The more you create servitors, the more you utilize them, the more energy you can put into them, the more detailed you can make them, the more specific you can make their tasks. Also, don't try to multitask them too much. Make sure they're very focused. The more focused the servitor is, the better it's going to do its job. In Leviticus, if you could use magic to change your species, what would you choose to become? I wouldn't. I wouldn't. You go into the multiverse and you understand that all the entities out there, even though they may not have the highest opinion of what humans have chosen to do with their path, they absolutely adore and envy the human experience within the physical plane. I wouldn't change it, hands down. I would not. I am very proud to be a human. I'm very proud to meet with the challenges that has been presented me. And I am very honored to have the ability to experience this, the ups and the downs, because without the downs, the ups mean nothing. You cannot have joy without pain. You can't. You have to have the good times and the bad times. So no, I wouldn't change it. I wouldn't, period. Yep, that's a pretty fair scenario of it, Anubis. Dell Franks. I have worked with Zozo once or twice in the past. Not an entity I've spent a lot of time with, though. Oh, I've got indigenous roots in me as well. In fact, I've actually gone on several expeditions to find skinwalkers from different tribes. And many of those expeditions even led by shamans and medicine men at the individual tribes. Again, seeing a lot of weird stuff, a lot of weird happenstances, but no proof outside of that. And I have heard of a lot of attacks, but every one of the attacks can be explained without a skinwalker. That's the problem. But that still doesn't stop me from doing the research. There's way too much data for me to think it's just myth, but without proof, I can't call it proof, if that makes sense. But yeah, I've never had issues with the word. In fact, at least on one of those expeditions, the shaman actually up and left my ass and said he'd be back tomorrow because I had every intention to use that word quite openly in the field and in the forest because if there was something going to come get somebody and get us some proof, I was willing to put my hide on the line. And I don't blame him. That is the general ideal of the myth because it is something that they don't want to attract it. It's a very bad thing, Anubis, and I wouldn't make fun of it at all. Because this is one of those entities that if it does show up and if it is real, you just punched your clock, dude. So don't make light of it. Don't make fun of it. Just because I've researched it and not found proof, I still respect the myth and the legends. And I know that when I use it and do what I did when the shamans left my ass in the woods that night, I'm endangering me, and I'm okay with that. I do this kind of stupid stuff for research. That I'm a research and data junkie. That comes with the fact that my practice is proof based. I can't go on faith. Well, hopefully, with things opening back up and things starting to move, I can get together with some of the old crew that we used to do a lot of this stuff on, and possibly even share some of that with you all. We'll see what happens. Yeah, I mean that's my thought on it, Tara. So I mean, I'm a proof-based person. I can't pick and choose. I can't say I'm proof-based, but since there's all this evidence but no proof, I'm going to believe in it anyway. I don't really do that. I will respect the myth. I will respect the legend. I will respect the people's viewpoints. Like I wasn't going around shouting it until after the shamans and the rest of the group left because I'm okay endangering me, and I respect them. And to this day, I adore any chance I get to go spend with those shamans. They are wonderful, wonderful individuals. Been a while since I got to see one of them. I need to go check in on him. Let's see here. What was the first thing you manifested? Man, that's been years ago. I think it was money. I really do. Because when I started Magic, finances were bad. I'd have to pull a lot of my old journals there, violetstar, but I'm wanting to say it was financially based. Let's see, Diana, in the elemental video, I don't understand the ideal of no good versus evil. I know not all is black and white, but how no evil? Like murdering kids isn't evil, not to be rude. I just want to understand. Yeah, no, that's perfectly fine. Here's the thing. When I said no good versus evil, I mean no absolute evil, no absolute good within the multiverse. You will always have individuals that make bad decisions, individuals that are horrible individuals, but that is not one totality of absolution of evil. The multiverse is not divided between good and evil. When you look at demons and angels, this concept of the spiritual war of good and evil, it just does not exist. Balance exists within all entities. That balance exists within all entities, period. There is no solely, purely evil entity out there. We do have free will and choice. And for those pieces of shit that kill or harm kids, yeah, I would label those individuals and their choices as evil. But as an entity of itself, they are not purely evil. They chose that, which honestly is more disgusting than an evil entity. Because if you think about it, if an entity was truly evil, it would have no choice. It would have no free will. It would just do what it is. That's not really bad. It's just doing what it is. It's acting on instinct. No, but having that choice and choosing such an atrocious path, that's something entirely different. Does that make sense? It's the concept of pure evil. It's actually comforting to me. It's actually a shame it doesn't exist. Because then you have something that's just acting on instinct. It's like a lion or wolf or something. If it's coming at me and it's hungry, that does not scare me. It's acting on instincts. I understand instincts. I can deal with that situation. That is a situation you can work with. But these individuals who choose such horrible paths, I have no sympathy for them. I have no remorse for them. And for this, my solution is, you want to hurt a child? I got the perfect cure. It's a 9mm, comes in a cartridge. I pull the trigger, you're cured. I am very, very, very protective of children. But I hope that does help you out a little bit, Diana. Sorry, when we talk about children, I get a little worked up there. Sorry, I'll bring it back down. See, missed a few here. Can you talk about demon invocation experience? Well, let's clarify that invocation and evocation are two different things here. Evocation traditionally, which I have a video on this coming out to explain this in more detail, but evocation traditionally is a communication with an entity outside of yourself, whereas invocation, the communication is happening within yourself. You're bringing a part of the entity inside yourself in order to commune with it and interact with it. So in the case of the invocation, I tend to not do a lot of invocation work with an entity unless I've worked with it for a really long time and it's an entity I trust. And the reason for this is invocation leaves a fingerprint on your energy, a natural shift that's going to take place to try and attune your energy to the entity you're invoking. And this can have energetic changes and shifts in your abilities and even your personality, depending on how you do it. Invocation is basically light possession. It really is. So the deeper into invocation you go, the deeper this shift change can become. Sometimes even permanent if you let it go deep enough. But Generally, I mean, all the entities that I've been willing to evoke and do these kind of workings with, I've enjoyed them. And I know a lot of magicians who use invocation primarily. They don't use evocation because they're actually trying to leverage that energetic shift and change. And that's a calculated and tactical risk. And I totally understand it and respect it. But in all the times I've used invocation and done it throughout the years, I've enjoyed the experience. I've had a few experiences that I could say didn't go the way I wanted, and you might even call those a bad experience. But by and large, I've enjoyed it. Well, Archer, I'll look into that. Yeah, as a kid, things happened, and some stupid people told me it wasn't bad, just part of my path, and it's all so confusing. I think I get it. There's a spectrum of good and evil in everyone. Yes, that referring to it as a spectrum, Diana, that's actually a pretty reasonable way to sum it up, actually. I think you may have summed that up a little better than I did, actually. So if you don't mind, I may actually start borrowing that phrasing just a little bit there. Jedi Master, love the facts. Well, thank you. I try to do my best. Type in the word summon, Jackie. One of the videos is how to find a entity or deity. So type that in. The other one should be summon. It's two videos in the same subject that focuses on different parts of it. Mildly, yeah. If you think about it, you're letting an entity into you. That's mild possession. You're sharing that space with it. I know you use the word possession. It sounds horrible, and people want to freak out, but it's not full on possession. But it is a milder form of it. Let's see here. Connor, thank you. Not planning on anything, but his story piqued my interest in this side of things coming from a religious area. No, and see, that's one of the things. I actually sit down once a month usually. I got several friends who are in different religions. Some's Catholic, some Southern Baptist, few pagans of different branches of paganism. And we actually sit down, have coffee and snacks, and we share a nice conversation where we try to pick a topic and we try to stay on topic and we discuss it from all our viewpoints. We don't challenge the viewpoints per se, but we discuss it from all the viewpoints. And we try to seek an understanding of each other's viewpoint, not convince them of our viewpoint. The whole ideal is to seek an understanding of the viewpoints of everyone else sitting at the table with you. And I absolutely love those conversations. Oh my God, do I love those conversations. Let's see, J2, last question about Ra, what he speaks about confuses me. I'm like, going from fourth density, you need to range of 95% self and 5% service to others, 51% service to others, and 90% service to self. Not 100% sure on that one. Those percentages and references don't really make a lot of sense. I mean, I would say that service to others is always a good thing. It's not a necessity, unfortunately. That does seem to be coming from a more spiritual perspective, which the Egyptian deities are big on their concepts of spirituality and worship. That's one reason I tend not to work with the Egyptians as much. I refuse to worship, which me and Ra had words on that. We had a nice exchange. So I'm not 100% on that one, 2D. I apologize. Tony, what is the most important thing to do to manifest something successfully? Okay, first off, you need to focus on, when you're doing the spell work, don't visualize every step of the way that you're going to receive it. That is shutting the door on all possibilities except that singular pathway. Don't do that. Instead, just see yourself having it. So in the case of money, like let's say you want an extra bit of money every month. Focus on your bank account having the amount of money you need or the amount of money you're trying to reach. Focus on it. You're not concerned on how it got there. You want to see yourself already having it. Put your focus there. And hold that focus as long as you can. Pour your energy into that. Pour your focus into that. This is why meditation is so important. You have to be able to focus on what it is you want to manifest. Now, once you've done this, once you've focused on it, once you've got that locked in, once you've pushed that energy into it and you've released it, release it. Do not sit there and spend the next week, month, or however long constantly checking your bank account, constantly worrying about it, constantly just dwelling on it. If you're dwelling on it every day, you did not release it. When I say release it, you should not be thinking about that for days and weeks on end. And this is why I've always said it's easier to manifest when you don't need something. You should work on building up your resources before you need it. Because when you need it, you're worried about it, you're stressing about it, and it's going to make it harder to release it. But you need to fully and completely release it. That's another reason I love the journals. When you write it down, when you write down all your criteria in there, you not only released it energetically, but you've released it mentally. You have a record. And when you have that record, it's easy to not think about it because when the time comes to consider it, you didn't have to remember it. You just go back and look it up. But honestly, I'd say those are the most important things. I'd say 90% of the time when something's not manifesting, it's because the person's not releasing it. They're constantly thinking about it. They're constantly dwelling on it. They're not releasing it. Let's see, Shadow Emperor heard Norse paganism and Hinduism evolved from the same religion if you go back far enough. Honestly, here's the thing. When it comes to religion, anthropologically speaking, you go back far enough, theoretically, you could possibly say that about almost any of them. There really is no great divide, anthropologically speaking, if you go back far enough. But at the end of the day, beliefs, legends, and myths shift and change throughout time. So, honestly, getting into a religious pissing contest is kind of one of the more ridiculous things. So, I really don't care where religion comes from. I don't. It's one of those things like if your path, if your beliefs are helping you be the best person you can be and live the best life you can live, and you're not hurting anyone else, guess what? I don't care. You could come in and tell me you worship SpongeBob SquarePants. Well, if SpongeBob SquarePants makes you into a good person, a successful person, a kind person, you're helping yourself, you're taking care of yourself, you're taking care of your family if you have one, you're helpful in your community if you are active in your community. But most importantly of all, you ain't bothering no one else. You ain't hurting no one else. You're letting everyone else live their best life and you're living your best life. You know what? You worship SpongeBob SquarePants. I don't care. More power to you. I will even get you a SpongeBob SquarePants for Christmas to help you because I want to see you living the best life you're going to live. Don't care how you do it, as long as you're not hurting someone else. Well, glad I could help, Tony. Yeah. All right, everybody, we're a little bit over here, so we're going to go ahead and get wrapped up. And I will definitely see you all Sunday for Magical Coffee Hour. Same coffee time, same crazy YouTube channel. Thank you all for joining me. Again, I do apologize for last week. We had some issues, as many of you know. I do appreciate your understanding on that. It was ironically the first stream we'd missed in the whole time we've been doing this. That was pretty freaking cool, really. It actually surprised me that with all the technological issues I have and stuff, that was the first one we'd missed. That was pretty cool. That was really, really cool to me. But I did definitely miss you all. You don't realize how much these streams become a part of your routine until you just don't miss it, because this don't feel like work to me. This feels more like hanging out with friends. I really enjoy these. So thank you for understanding. I apologize. Hopefully that won't happen again for a while. We'll see you Sunday. Oh, do remember, if you want to support the channel, we do not have the join thing. I got caught up answering y'all's questions. Forgot to say all this crap, didn't I? We do have the membership now where you can join. There's 3 different tiers, different perks with every one. You'll see a few people in here already. I'm like Tony, Luna, and Onika. They've joined. They're receiving different perks. They have the fancy name colors and the badges. They also have access to special emojis, which we are going to be adding more emojis. So keep a lookout on those as well. And for those artists out there, we are considering doing another art contest this year. So we're going to discuss exactly how we want to do this one, what, and everything. I think instead of coffee cups, we might do a T-shirt this year. But so keep your ears peeled for that. We're definitely going to look into that for sure. Anyways, everyone, you have a great weekend. Stay safe. Have fun. Keep doing the work to manifest the life you want. And I'll see you Sunday, everyone. Good night. Bye-bye.